Greetings and salutations, friends. I am Nimithrander, and we're picking up with Escoffie's story quest, Treasured Above All. So, we now have to return to the Hotel de Boer.
Ever see any stickers on my back? Do me a favor and take them off. Malazines like to play pranks sometimes.
It is always amusing to see just how nice and friendly Risley actually is, despite his looks. Though I suspect that was entirely the point. Guy who looks like he could be in a death metal band with how he dresses is actually very nice and fluffy on the inside. Probably why Neuvillette trusts him to look after Sigewinne. Alright, now to Hotel de Boer. And now that we have Escoffie with us, perhaps she can talk some sense into Savannah. Escoffie may be, well, harsh, to put it mildly, but so far as I know, there's no reference of any of her staff collapsing on her or winding up bedridden.
Wait, she looks like... Is that Escoffie?
Escoffie's back? Yes! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sounds like I cut off some of the dialogue by moving forward too quickly. Oh well.
I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I messed up your order.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe the taste is a little off, but if you hadn't brought it up, I don't think I would have noticed.
But, please, you have to forgive me or Chef is gonna... Okay, I know. I'll kneel before you.
What the heck?
Going a bit far, aren't we?
Get up, Monica! Can't you see that you're just making your customer feel more awkward?
Escoffie?
If you want forgiveness, then do what any self-respecting chef would do. Make the dish again. And this time, get it right. You cannot go begging your customers to feel sorry for you.
Savannah said that I'm not allowed back in the kitchen until I've corrected my mistake. But if I can't go back into the kitchen, I can't do the dish over.
That's some backwards logic. How can you fix your mistake without being allowed to cook? If this is what Fermat had to put up with, then no wonder he had a breakdown.
We apologize for interrupting your meal, sir.
It's fine. With my layman's palate, it's not like I can tell the difference anyway. I was actually quite enjoying my meal until she appeared out of nowhere and started apologizing. Gave me a bit of a fright, to be honest.
Oh, well, it's because Chef Savannah tasted a bit of the leftover soup from my pot and then threw me out of the kitchen.
Gosh, that's pretty strict. Has she always been that way? I don't recall things being like this when Escoffie was head chef here. I gotta say, you're all looking a little worse for wear these days.
I mean, Escoffie was strict too, but I think the difference is that her criticism was more constructive, so you knew what you did wrong and how to improve, and we all knew that it came from a good place. Chef Escoffie was hard on us because she truly wanted us to reach her level. But these days, whenever we make a mistake, we just get told to wake up, get your head in the game, or just do it again. And it's only gotten worse since word got out that Chef Escoffie had started working again in the Fleuve Cendre.
Monica, you don't need to call me chef. I'm not the boss here anymore.
Yeah, but through no fault of your own, what happened back then, that wasn't on you, and all of us know that. That banquet was a huge event, and so many staff were involved every step of the way. With so many moving parts, there's no way of knowing how that Lumiline ended up in the food we served.
Lumiline? What's that?
A new drug from the Fontaine Research Institute, produced from an extract of the Lumitoile. Apparently it sharpens the senses, so they used it to treat people with impaired responses to stimuli.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. They found out you can use it as a flavor enhancer since it stimulates the taste buds. Makes things pretty addictive.
They also found that overuse can have mood-altering effects, and even lead to nerve damage. So it quickly ended up on the guard's list of controlled substances. Unfortunately, however, some food products containing the additive had already made it to the market by the time the guards banned it from the restaurant industry.
Everyone knows that in all likelihood, someone probably just purchased a batch of contaminated ingredients by mistake. But you took all the blame. We all know why. You just didn't want to see this turn into a place where tensions are constantly running high, because everyone's suspicious of each other all the time. And now look at you, a fry chef in the Fleuve Cendre.
What are you trying to say? Sure, the Spina's Tavern is no Hotel de Boer, but come on, it's not that bad, is it?
Oh, the Fleuve Cendre, you say? Great. That's where I'm downing from now on.
Not what Escoffier wanted to hear, I bet. And besides that, I'm still under the impression that Savannah deliberately spiked the food so that she could take over the Hotel de Boer. Also, Navia, the Fleuve Cendre is literally underground. Literally in the sewer. I'm sorry, but there's no way for that to compare with this place. Not even close. Also, since we're looking at Escoffier, I can't help but notice the hairpin she's got there with the cross. Well, looks like a pair of crossed forks, almost. Well, except there's got 3 points. Anyway, it looks a little bit like Orihime's hairpiece. Orihime Inoue from Bleach. And with the hair color's also relatively close, too. A lot of people I saw comparing Escoffier's design to Asuna from Sword Art Online. But with that hairpiece, I'm tempted to say it's actually closer slightly to Orihime. Wonder which was the stronger influence. Oh well. Let's continue.
Monica, I'm very happy with my current job. And there's no changing the past. We just have to let bygones be bygones. Besides, at the end of the day, I was the head chef, regardless of whose mistake it was. Ultimately, the responsibility lay with me.
If only Savannah was half the boss you were.
I'm sorry? Do you have a problem with my conduct as head chef?
Several, actually. And yeah, I knew you'd overhear that.
No, chef.
So, you do remember who's boss? Escoffier? I thought you'd left this place for good. What are you doing back here?
What happened to you, Savannah? Why are you acting like this? When I turned this place over to you,
You made me the head chef and gave up your right to tell me how to do my job. You're not the boss here anymore, so stop acting like you own the place.
Whoa. Sounds like someone has a chip on her shoulder.
Maybe we should give them some space. Not really our place to interfere, not yet, anyway. Like I said last time, issues like this could end up going to the police. And considering this is within the court of Fontaine itself, it might come to the attention of Monsieur Neuvillette. Particularly if Farina often comes here. In which case it might get heard by him, indirectly or directly from her. Which would probably cause all manner of problems for the Hotel de Boer, not the least of which being immense injury to its reputation. So, to avoid that, let's see if we can't handle this quietly. With the aid of the Spina, i.e. Navia.
Oh, Savannah! My God, have you grown a temper since I last saw you? Have you put even half the amount of energy into improving your cooking skills, or are you still using the Pluie Lotus as an off-brand marcotte, thinking no one can tell the difference?
That's none of your business!
What happened to not storming in and raising hell?
That possibility went out the window the second we brought Escoffie, apparently.
Ho ho! I was not expecting to see something this spicy as soon as Escoffier returned.
Huh? Fanagem?
Aye, miladies. Might I make a humble suggestion? Given that we have ourselves a tete-a-tete between chefs at the Hôtel de Bord, I dare say it would be de rigueur to settle this the traditional way.
The traditional way? That can only mean one thing.
Sounds like we're in for a history lesson.
That's right! I'm talking, of course, about the tradition established by Modeste himself. The cooking contest!
According to legend, the founders of Hôtel de Bord, Modeste and Savelli, used this method to resolve all of their disputes. Everything from petty arguments over next week's menu to disagreements over the strategic direction of the restaurant. The cooking contest would decide who had the final say.
Huh. It sounds like they had a lot of free time on their hands.
Ah, well, it might sound that way to us. But in fact, the cooking contest played an enormous role in motivating chefs to hone their skills, reaching new heights of excellence in the culinary arts. And indeed, the reintroduction of this institution in recent years has surely been instrumental in transforming the Hôtel de Bord into the top-ranking restaurant in Fontaine.
Reintroduction? Someone brought it back? Who?
I think we know.
What say you, Escoffier? Surely you of all people won't back down from this challenge. It was you who put the rule in place, after all.
Yeah, thought so. And there's your answer, Paimon. And yeah, Escoffier, since you decided to start this competition again, you really don't have the right to refuse, now do you? Also, if you proved all and sundry that you are the better chef, you might be able to reclaim your position as head chef of Hôtel de Bord. I am sorry, Navia, but the Fleuve Cendre just doesn't have the same mystique.
Sure, I reinstated it, but I'm not a chef at Hôtel de Bord anymore. Isn't this bending the rules a little?
I see no issue as long as both sides agree to the terms. We could simply treat it as an exhibition of sorts. Savannah, any objections?
Exhibition. Huh. No. If we're going to battle it out, let's put it all on the line. If I lose, it's up to you what happens to me.
I don't want anything to happen to you.
But if you lose, you hand over the Codex de Bord to me.
What? The Codex de Bord?
And what is that exactly? Also, if you handed over the entirety of the restaurant to Savannah, why doesn't she already have this Codex de Bord thing? Would that not have been in the package, considering the name?
Only the legendary handbook written by the original head chef Modeste. It contains all his secret recipes, including Gâteau de Bord. It's the greatest treasure in Fontaine's culinary world, and only the present and former head chefs of the Hôtel de Bord have the right to read it.
So why wasn't Savannah gifted it, then? Why did Escoffier keep it? That seems hypocritical. Handing over the head chef position, but not Modeste's, well, treatise.
Present and former? Wait, but that already Savannah, though.
What do you want that old thing for? You have your own copy, don't you?
Don't take me for a fool. You know perfectly well what I mean. I want your copy, the original version, the one you took with you when you left us.
Alright, so there are copies, but there is an original surviving text. Gotta say, Escoffie, I kind of agree with Savannah on this one. The original text should remain in the Hotel de Boer itself. Unless, of course, you were to hand it over to a museum, I suppose, but... Why did you keep the original?
I'm sorry, I must be missing something. You know, there's no difference between the original and the copy, right? They contain the exact same recipes.
Stop trying to change the topic. What's wrong, Escoffier? Scared you're gonna lose to me? Or are you scared of me getting my hands on the original codex?
Savannah, you may remember that we gave her the original as a parting gift to thank Escoffier for her years of service. Asking for it back feels a little,
Okay, so it was not her decision then. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure it won't be an issue, as long as both sides agree to the terms. Those were your words, weren't they? And as for the contest itself, let's make it a bake-off. Gâteau de Boer, per the recipe in the codex. Well, Escoffier, you against me. Are you in or out?
You sound surprisingly confident. Alright then, let's see how much you've actually grown. I hope you surprise me, Savannah. I'd hate to find out that all you've learned after this long is how to chew people's heads off.
Believe me, I'll show you.
Escoffier, are you sure this is a good idea? You accepted her terms a little hastily.
Oh, it'll be fine. Let's head back to the Fleuve Cendres so I can get prepping.
I see.
I do apologize. This whole ordeal reflects rather poorly on us.
If you're the boss of Hotel de Boer, can't you rein Savannah in a little?
I'm afraid it's not quite that simple. The Hotel de Boer runs as more of a partnership, you see. It was founded by two friends, Modeste and Savelli, and it's been that way ever since. So, while I am technically Savannah's boss, it's not really my place to interfere with the business of the kitchen. To be perfectly honest with you, that's part of the reason why I suggested a cooking contest. If Escoffier wins, it would be the perfect opportunity for her to talk some sense into Savannah. Or, of course, if she wanted to return, then... But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Whatever the outcome, this contest will hopefully serve as a turning point for us. Please, pass on my best wishes to Escoffier. I must say, Savannah surprised me with her confidence. Does she really believe she can best Escoffier in the kitchen? I thought she was just blowing off steam when she first raised the idea to me.
I'd be kind of curious. What Risley or Neuvillette would have to say about this, or Farina for that matter. Basically get everyone in here. I want to know what all the Fontanian locals have to say about this.
I can't believe I got to witness that firsthand. I only stopped by here for a quick meal. I definitely got my Mora's worth today.
And a fair bit more, I dare say. Oh, that's right, we came here during the festival. No, one of the festivals. It was a international exchange, as I recall. People from Inazuma, including, of course, Ayaka and her brother Ayato, came here and filmed a movie. That was a fun event. Honestly, I wish they would actually let you replay stuff like that.
Do another show.
She said something about Lenny and Lynette. Well, we'll leave that be for the moment. Got too much other stuff going on right now. So, back to the Fleuve Cendre. But yeah, I wish they gave an option to replay old story events and old event quests. In particular, it would be nice if we could actually have a shot at getting old event weapons. One of the principal examples of that was the Cinnabar Spindle. Literally, the weapon for Albedo. And yet, impossible to get hold of. Because if you didn't play the event when it was live. And Albedo without that weapon just isn't as good as with it. Which kinda sucks that you literally just can't get it anymore. On that note, the weapon I'm using on Escoffie right now, the Tamayuratai no Ohanashi. I'm a little better with the Japanese, but not by much, as you can tell. But yeah, this weapon, surprisingly good for her. Energy recharge, and a hefty attack percent increase after using elemental skill. And this is another event-exclusive weapon. Yeah, from the Mikawa Flower Festival they had recently. Again, surprisingly good. But if you miss the festival, you just never get this weapon. So I hope they fix that at some point. Granted, well, as far as I'm aware, Honkai Impact 3rd allows you to replay old events. But, apparently Genshin doesn't get the same consideration. It would be nice if toward the end of the game's life cycle, they opened it up and actually did all of those quality of life improvements. But we shall see, I suppose.
So, this whole bake-off thing kind of came out of nowhere. Was it really sensible to just go along with it?
Well, I got a sense that she's holding something back. But we chefs always express ourselves in our cooking. So if she won't talk, this might be the best way to find out what's really going on with her.
Huh? Holding back? Sure didn't sound that way to Paimon.
I would point out that we haven't actually gotten to the root of anything with Savannah. Yeah, she was extremely argumentative and harsh with us, but, yeah, she hasn't explained herself, not one bit yet, so... Yeah, no, she is holding back. She hasn't explained anything yet. And I'm still under the impression that she was the one who spiked the food. I'm betting either she did that on purpose, trying to get rid of Escoffie, or she might have done it by accident, and before she had a chance to turn herself in for it, Escoffie went to the Fortress of Meripede. Either way would explain her, violent attitude. Either way, guilt or shame could be playing into it.
Escoffie only picked up on it because she's the same way. Always closed off, never letting you know what she really thinks.
That's patently false, at least where your macarons are concerned. I've been nothing but truthful with you about the disgraceful amount of sugar you use.
Okay, that's one case where you can keep your thoughts to yourself.
Didn't know you were a cook, Navia. So anyway, what's this Codex de Boer she's so obsessed with? And why does she claim that there's a distinction between the original and the copy?
Oh, that? Well, it's not so much a recipe book as a diary of Modeste's adventures. Back Back in the day, he and his good friend Savelli explored far and wide, partly adventuring, partly looking for new ingredients and developing new recipes. Their creations had an enormous influence on the course of Fontaine cuisine, turning it into a much more vibrant and diverse scene. For instance, legend has it that the original Gâteau de Bourg was made using a special secret ingredient that Modeste discovered on one of his adventures. So rare was the ingredient that they could never make more than 16 slices of the cake per day. But everyone who tried it claimed that it was one of the most blissful and invigorating things they had ever tasted. Modeste and Savelli went on to found the original Hôtel de Bourg, which catapulted them to stardom in Fontaine's culinary world. Especially Modeste. He was hailed as a once-in-a-generation genius, and over time, the recipes from his adventure log became known as the Codex de Bourg.
Ah, Paimon's heard this kind of story before. Armed with the Codex, the Hôtel de Bourg took its rightful place as the finest restaurant in the land, serving those recipes for centuries to come. Something like that?
What? No, of course not! Cooking is a constantly evolving art form. How could any restaurant survive if they only served food that was popular last century? Anyway, never mind centuries. Savelli and Modeste parted ways not even 10 years after their rise to fame. Then, Modeste passed away while he was still in his prime. And that was it. The end of the Hôtel de Bourg's heyday. It fell into decline, and for most of its history, it was just a nondescript place with a couple of cheap tables. It's only in recent decades that it started recovering. Even then, it still took numerous relocations and changes of management before we finally ended up with Vanigem and the restaurant we have today.
Oh! So the Codex really isn't all that, then. Paimon figured it was like one of those mystical books they have in Liwei's martial arts novels, where the main character learns all their secret powers from.
Yes, well, that's fiction, and this is reality. You can't meet the tastes of modern diners by following some ancient recipes from a dusty old book.
Case in point. Even the Gâteau de Bourg they sell now is actually Escoffier's reimagination.
Wait, really? Why though? Didn't that recipe make it into the Codex?
I would point out that they mention the fact that one of those ingredients for the original recipe was damn near impossible to get hold of. Therefore, a reimagining was almost a necessity, if it was to actually be producible.
It did, but like I said, it's the dusty old book now, and the records aren't as legible as they once were. Not to mention that there's no way of finding the secret ingredient Modeste wrote about.
Well, there you go. Hold on. If Savannah is challenging you to recreate Modeste's version of, well, of the special cake, then how are we going to do that exactly? If we don't even know what the secret ingredient was? Is that part of Savannah's challenge, that you have to figure out what Modeste's special ingredient was?
So, reimagination is right. I consulted some historical records and took what I could from the Codex. But ultimately, the Gâteau de Bourg today is my own recipe. As for why we gave it the same name and kept the tradition of only selling 16 slices a day, well, you've got Vanigem's business sense to thank for that.
Oh! Huh. Well, that kind of takes all the mystique out of it.
Nothing like cynical, artificial scarcity. Ay.
Hey now, it might not be the original Gâteau de Bourg, but it's still the most delicious cake in Fontaine today. And who knows, maybe Escoffier's version is more suited to your palate. Just think, if the original truly was the perfect cake you're imagining it to be, there's no way the recipe would have been lost to history, right? Not to mention that the Hôtel de Bourg never would have fallen into a slump.
The quality of a single cake is not going to define whether or not a restaurant does well or poorly. Besides which, There are many things across history that were phenomenal, but were simply lost or forgotten. So that's wishful thinking. Knowledge can simply be lost. It's a tragic fact, but there are things about the world and our ancestry that we will never know simply because that knowledge was lost. So, it might really have been the perfect cake, and now we'll never get to try it. Bit of a tragedy, that, if you ask me. And that's not just my sweet tooth talking either. The loss of any knowledge is a grievous matter.
Anyway, before I left my role as head chef, I made a copy of all the recipes from the Codex, including my own improved versions, and turned them over to Savannah.
So why is she so interested in the original copy? Could it be a symbolic thing? Like, whoever holds the original Codex de Boer is the true head chef?
Well, it was clearly precious enough to give to Escoffie as a parting gift. Meanwhile, Savannah only got a copy. Maybe from her point of view, it's like management doesn't truly see her as being worthy of the role.
You think so? The only thing is, it was her suggestion to gift me the original in the first place. Well, a joint decision by her and Venegem. But still.
What? Huh. Guess she's had a major change of heart since she became head chef. Yeesh.
Who knows? We could speculate forever. Better to just let our Gato do the talking.
I see, so we're back to the contest then, I take it.
It means besting her in this bake-off, and then getting her to explain herself, even if I have to beat it out of her with a spatula.
I'm getting Ranma 1/2 flashbacks with Ukyo. Wonder how many of you guys watching this actually know the references I'm making. Leave answers in the comments if you remember these things.
However much she's changed since we worked together, I believe that she still has her chef's pride. And if she respects the art, she'll respect the outcome of our contest.
Well, I'm confident that you and your spatula can get justice for Froment. All you need to do now is win the contest. But that should be a breeze for you.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Gâteau de Boer is very complicated to make. Usually, it takes 3 chefs working in tandem to cover everything. Now, if I had to push it, I could probably do the work of 3 chefs myself. But I'd prefer to play it safe if I can find a couple of assistants in time.
Well, that's easy. The 3 of us are veterans in the kitchen. You just need to pick 2 of us.
Well, I have heard the Traveler is an accomplished cook, as well as a warrior. But be warned, I will hold you to exceptionally high standards. Think you're up to the task?
Certainly.
Oh, count me in too. I've spent weeks perfecting my macarons after your scathing review. Even if it means competing against the Traveler, so be it. I'll show you what I'm made of.
Confident. I like it. Alright, let's start with some elementary mise en place. Show me your knife skills.
Oh, minigame, eh? Show Escoffie your knife skills. Use normal attacks to cut the fruit. It seems she will collect the slices and process them into some sublime substance.
I've always called it chopping stuff up, not mise en place. But it's basically the same thing, right?
Oh, Navia. The difference in your case is that mise en place is chopping stuff up without sending juices flying all over the kitchen.
Okay. Okay.
Looks like you found that easier than I expected.
Yeah, thankfully it was pretty straightforward in the end. You made it sound like we'd be carving statues out of fruits or something.
Well, brace yourself, because the next step is anything but straightforward. I'll be using this cold press to extract flavor compounds from the ingredients.
And what is a cold press exactly? That also brings me to another interesting tidbit. I always thought it somewhat strange that Escoffier, a chef, has a cryovision. Unless we're talking about ice cream and such on, you would think that being able to add extra heat at will to a dish would be more useful in the cooking process. So perhaps this is the explanation for how cold can factor in.
A kind of special food processor I got the Fontaine Research Institute to make for me. It uses cold temperature extraction to isolate the essence of cooking ingredients, which can then be used to flavor dishes more precisely. But this isn't exactly standard kitchen equipment, so that probably didn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me give you a demonstration instead.
Display your mastery with the cold press. Tap your elemental skill to accelerate the cold press's progress, then use normal attacks to let it do its work. It seems like the special substance extracted from the plants might come in handy here.
Custom-made equipment from the Fontaine Research Institute, huh? That's some pretty high-tech food prep. Paimon's never used anything this weird before. Cool! Not weird.
I'm curious. Yep, level 90. Saw that coming. Oh, and she does have her signature. An oversized fork. That's interesting. Oh, C3. Yes, I kinda saw that coming too. And triple crown, too. Yeah, my Escoffier is never going to be this heavily invested. Oh well.
A little amuse-bouche! And done! These are the flavor compounds extracted from our ingredients. I've processed all the fruit you chopped up earlier.
Wow! Even the smell is so much more concentrated. What next? Do we add all this stuff in?
Absolutely not! Throwing everything in at once will ruin the balance of flavors. We have to go slowly and carefully to calibrate the exact flavor we want. I'll demonstrate again. Now, watch closely.
Learn at Escoffier's feet and master her precision cooking. The flavorings you got from her multifunctional food processor can adjust the flavor profile of the dish. Strike a balance between fruity flavors and floral flavors to adjust said flavor profile and make a delicious dish. Okay.
Slowly and carefully. Not a drop too much, and not a drop too little.
Alright. Oh, let me see. Looks like we've got a little more red than blue, so let's go blue first. Oh, I see. It's literally a counting game. Alright. How much is this going to do, I wonder? Oh, that's only one? Okay then. I was beginning to wonder how many of those we'd have to go through.
And voila! Now it's your turn. Not terrible. Considering this was everyone's first time blending flavor extracts, it could have been worse. But the Traveler's work was surprisingly good. Are you sure you've never done this before? You got almost perfect results on your first try.
All thanks to my excellent teacher.
That goes without saying. Still, credit where credit's due. You did well. Alright, now for the part I've been looking forward to. I want each of you to cook something from the Hotel de Boer's current menu. I'll judge your submissions and give you a final score.
A final score, you say?
That's right. The true test of your cooking skills is the finished product. It'll be good practice for the contest itself. Now get to it. Chop chop!
Presumably. Problem is, I don't know what those are offhand. Hopefully, you'll give me a list.
How's it going? Have you picked a dish yet? Choose wisely. I expect you to present the most delicious thing on the menu.
That could end up being rather subjective. Well, literally as delicious in the name, so we'll give it a try.
Look at that! With the grace of a snow-winged goose, as I like to say. Now, let the grating commence.
Pretty good, right? Not to brag or anything, but Paimon's a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to la food.
6 points.
What? Oh, well, fair enough. Paimon doesn't cook all that often, so as long as it's a pass.
That's 6 out of 100.
What?
Yeah, I was about to ask. 6 out of how many?
You say you're a connoisseur, but it's quite clear from this dish that you have far more experience consuming food than creating it. By that logic, I suppose you think listening to Lady Farina on repeat every day would make you an opera singer.
Aww.
Me next. I'll have you know that this batch of macarons has 2 whole tablespoons less sugar than my previous ones.
So you went from 12 tablespoons to 10? Well, it's nice to know you actually measured it out. Because it tastes like you just threw in whatever was left in the jar. 6 points.
Aw,
On even footing with Paimon. That is harsh.
Now to the final dish.
So, what do you think?
this is our last hope.
8 points.
Oof. Only marginally better than Paimon.
Darn! That's barely higher than what we got.
Not exactly. The color is spot on. Beautiful aroma. Excellent presentation. I have to give this one 8 points out of 10. Maybe even 9 points.
Huh? How did you pull that off?
It's all that practice from cooking for you, Paimon.
Don't get me wrong. There's room for improvement. But still, this is clearly the work of an accomplished chef. I can tell that you've put many hours of work into honing your skills in the kitchen. I can really taste the grace of the snow-winged goose in this dish. The traveler's journey, with all its trials, tribulations, and setbacks. Not to mention the frustrations of having a picky eater for a partner.
Hey, you made that last part up! No way did you taste that!
Well, it looks like I lost fair and square. I guess you'll be taking the Traveler as one of your assistants then?
But if it takes 3 chefs, that still just one slot remaining. Maybe Paimon and Navia should keep practicing and see how it goes?
Chef Escoffier!
Oh, it's Hilaire! What brings you here?
I heard the news about the cooking contest. You're doing Gâteau de Bourg, right? I was just wondering if you needed any help.
Okay, I gotta say, this was a somewhat awkward casting choice. The kid looks like he's 7, but it sounds like his balls have dropped already. A bit awkward juxtaposing that deep voice with the baby face.
Huh. And you think you're up to the task, do you?
Oh, no, I know I'm not there yet. It's actually my dad who wanted to help.
Are you well enough to be up and about, sir?
Firma, last I heard, you could barely get out of bed.
Chef Escoffier, Navia, Traveler, thank you all so much for everything you're doing for me and my family. I've had enough of sitting around at home while you run yourselves ragged. If you let me, I'd like to help you win this cooking contest.
Are you sure you're up to the task, Firma? I wouldn't want to risk your health. Then again, ousting Savannah in the long run is likely to do you much good. So I suppose I can understand why you would want to help.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Don't you worry. I'll be fine. I'm feeling much better now. I'm sorry. I know I've been rather useless these past few days, but not anymore. The fact is, I'm a fine chef, despite recent events. I've proven myself in the Hotel de Bourg kitchen, so if anyone's qualified to work under Chef Escoffier, it's me. I think. I hope so.
Firma, have you even set foot in a kitchen since leaving Hotel de Bourg?
I wonder how much difference that actually makes, considering that he's only been out of commission for what, a week? Maybe less?
I have not, but I'm fully rested now. I know I can handle it. I'll prove it. Let me whip something up for you right now. Huh? That's strange. Why are my hands shaking?
What do you call this, Firma?
I can't seem to grip my knife.
Do it again! Again! Again!
I...
Hopeless. Get out of my kitchen yesterday.
Dad, what's wrong?
I don't understand. I was feeling so much better, and then Will I never be able to work in a kitchen again?
Dad, talk to me. What happened?
I think the real issue here is not physical exhaustion, but psychological trauma.
Monica, when did you get here?
So in other words, Firma literally has PTSD from Savannah's treatment of him. Yeah, no, I say call the guards. This has gone beyond her being a poor head chef to her literally causing permanent injury to her staff.
Probably because you were all concentrating so hard on your cooking. I didn't want to interrupt your flow. But anyway, Firma, I'm so sorry. If only I'd known how serious your situation was, I would have stood up for you sooner.
You have nothing to apologize for, Monica. During those long nights of redoing every order, you were the only person who looked out for me.
Oh, come on. All I did was make you some tea. I doubt it was much help. Savannah was so ruthless toward you. I probably should have brought you something stronger.
She sounds like the worst. All right, another Savannah horror story. Let's hear it.
She's been getting harsher and harsher on us ever since she heard about Escoffie's new role in the Fleuve Cendre. Seems like no matter what we make, she'll find something wrong with it.
What is this? It looks like a dog's been at it! In the trash now!
Then she orders us to redo the dish again and again, but we never know what's going to make her happy.
Do it again, do it again, do it again!
Every time you remake it, you just get another earful from her.
Either straighten yourself out, or get out of my kitchen!
So now, it seems like just picking up a kitchen utensil gives me flashbacks of her yelling at me.
Oh man, that must be awful.
The more I want to get it perfect, the more my hands shake, and the more scared I am of making another mistake.
How can you give up so easily, Firma? You weren't a quitter when you were working for me. And even under Savannah, you talk about working late into the night trying to perfect your dishes. That says to me that you still hadn't lost that determination to prove yourself. What changed?
I don't know what's come over me. When I think back, I just remember feeling like my heart and my hands were growing heavier and heavier as the shift went on. Each time I had to redo a dish, my heart sank a little further. Maybe Savannah was right. Maybe I am just hopeless at this.
Dad.
I see. Well, it sounds like there are some deep issues at work here. Ones that won't be resolved by merely seeking compensation. I will win this contest, and after that, I encourage you to approach Savannah and talk this out.
But what if you can't find another assistant in time? Clearly, I'm in no state to help out.
You think being one person short will ruin my chances? Let's not forget, I taught you and her everything you know. Even if I had to go it alone, I would present the perfect gâteau.
Oh, well, Paimon and Nadia will still keep practicing, just in case.
And so will I.
Yeah! And if worse comes to worse, we can always get the Spina di Rosula to put out an emergency call for chefs. There's gotta be someone out there, right?
I'm guessing Monica has something to say about that.
Actually, I thought maybe I could help. That's sort of why I'm here.
What? Why didn't you say so?
I was going to, but then... well, this is the first chance I got.
You do this for us? Thank you so much, Monica.
All right, fine by me. But aren't you still working for Savannah? Joining the other side seems like a guaranteed way to put your future employment in jeopardy.
I know, but it's all right. I've made up my mind. With the way things are, I can't keep working for Savannah much longer anyway. Unless I want to become the next Firma. I'm done with sucking it up. It's time to try and turn things around. If this cooking contest can get Savannah to see the error of her ways, then I'm sure she'll forgive me for this.
I hope you're right. Again, calling the guard would be unfortunate for all parties. So let's see if we can avoid that, shall we?
Well, Hyman didn't think we'd be poaching from Savannah's staff to get our third person, but there you go. Anyway, Monica's a professional chef, so nothing could possibly go wrong now.
Great! Then it's settled. And to congratulate you all on making the team, I propose a Spina-sponsored meal to celebrate.
Spina-sponsored? Wait, you mean I'm cooking?
Well, I promised the traveler a feast in the Fleuve Cendre. And I know how much you've been looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I can help cook. It'll be a good bit of practice for the contest, after all. And after everything that's happened, I wouldn't want to put you out, Escoffier.
All right, if you insist, then prepare for some of the finest food of your lives.
Nice bit of art.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Wait, hold on. You need to finesse that further.
That was a dream come true. Paimon never knew Fontanian cuisine could be this good.
Did Navia literally pass out at her seat?
I wish I could eat that all over again. It's not often that Escoffier goes all out like this. And it's all because of you, Traveler.
And how are you feeling, Mr. Fermat?
So, this is what Chef Escoffier is truly capable of.
Well, let's be fair. I had a hand in it.
Wow. I don't know if I'll ever be able to cook as good as that.
You're young yet. We have yet to see where your talent lies, young man. So don't rule it out just yet. Anywho, let's see if we can find Escoffier.
I guess I'm finally on the right path.
She wandered off of fair ways, it seems.
Why, Savannah? Why?
Is something troubling you?
Oh, nothing. I was just flicking through the original Codex de Boer. I wanted to see if there was anything I'm missing. Something I hadn't noticed before. That might explain why Savannah's so desperate to get her hands on it. But I can't find anything. It's just some hastily scribbled recipes in between diary entries from Modeste's adventuring phase. And most of it's not even legible anymore. The copy I gave her not only has all the recipes in full, but even includes my own private tips and notes from years of experience. Surely that's infinitely more useful than this old thing.
For her, it's probably not about how useful it is, and more an issue of the head chef's pride.
Yeah, maybe. Still, it's just hard for me to imagine that the Savannah I knew would go to all this effort just to make a point.
Were you two friends?
We were. At least I always thought we were. She was a little shy, but meticulous with everything and everyone she dealt with. She made a few mistakes here and there, but she was quick to correct them whenever they were pointed out. And she was always striving to improve as a chef. Those qualities are why I recommended her to replace me as head chef. I never imagined for 1 second that she'd cause Fiamma and the other staff so much grief.
It sounds like you feel partly responsible. She was your chosen successor, so I certainly see why you would feel responsible.
Well, I mean to an extent, of course. I pushed hard for her to get the role. And the idea that she turned out like this because of me is difficult to come to terms with. I wonder if this is how Modeste felt back when he was writing the Codex.
Speaking of Modeste, didn't he have a falling out with someone as well?
Yes, with his good friend and co-founder of the Hotel de Boer, Savelli. The story goes that after Modeste unveiled his Gâteau de Bourg and was hailed as a culinary genius, he was admired and adored by all. But his newfound fame slowly drove him and Savelli apart. Unlike Modeste, whose every new creation was an instant hit, Savelli seemed to face setbacks every turn. Doors that would swing wide open for Modeste would shut in Savelli's face. And with Modeste being whisked off to all manner of functions by his celebrity friends, he had less and less time to discuss the culinary arts with Savelli. People started gossiping about Savelli, and their relationship between the two gradually soured.
So what happened to them, ultimately?
Everything came to an abrupt end when Modeste, still in the prime of his life and still hailed as a genius, suddenly died from an acute illness. And that was it. They neither had a decisive split, nor got the chance to properly reconcile. Their story just came to an end. One rumor had it that Savelli actually killed Modeste out of jealousy, even as the latter was hoping to make amends.
Do you know if that's true?
Unlikely. It's a popular theory, but there's no real basis for it. At least there are no records of Savelli ever being convicted of a crime. Still, beyond a point, there's no way of knowing what truly happened in the past. All we can do is try to make sure the present doesn't quite go as badly. And that's why I have to win this contest tomorrow. Then get the truth about everything that's been going on, even if it means cracking her open like a nut.
With you on the team, there's no way we can lose.
You're right about that. Just follow my lead and victory will be ours.
I have every faith in you.
Let's hope that Savannah isn't all sizzle and no steak. After all the work we put in, it would kind of be a shame if tomorrow was a complete cakewalk.
Pun very much intended, I suspect. And I think I'll take this opportunity to take a break. After all, we have passed the hour mark. So, I'll end it here for today. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do check out my Elden Ring Let's Play, as well as my playthrough of the Genshin Impact main story. And since I post Monday through Friday, do remember to hit the bell to keep up with notifications, including, of course, when Part 3 comes out. And, as always, have a good day.